Hello, and welcome to Easy English Interviews, the podcast for English language learning. My name is Chris Kent. I'm an associate professor of English as a second language in Japan. And in this podcast, I interview interesting people in easy English, so English students can practice their listening comprehension skills. Please enjoy listening to the interviews, and if you would like to check your comprehension, please look at the questions in the podcast episode notes. Or go to kjkentmsed.substack.com and click on the post for this episode. There, you can subscribe to my Substack and receive email notifications whenever a new interview is released. インタビューを楽しみください。理解度を確認したい場合は、ポッドキャストノートの質問を見るか、URL kjkentmsed.substack.com にアクセスして、このエピソードをクリックしてください。そこで私のサブスタックをサブスクライブして、新しいインタビューがリリースされるたびに電子メール通知を受け取ることができます。Okay, and now for the Easy English Interview. Okay, so today we are going to be talking with a fellow Canadian and good friend of mine, Stephen Corrigan. So thank you for coming today, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. So this interview is going to be fairly short and fairly easy, but just relax and have fun with it. Okay, so my first question is, why did you choose to come to Japan to teach English? Can you explain a little bit how you came to live here?
Sure. So it's a bit of a long answer, but I grew up very close to the United States, actually by car. It's about an hour, go along the highway and up over the bridge. So whether it was with my family or even just with high school friends driving to the U.S., we would go shopping or, go for a couple days. And I also spent about a month in Mexico. After university, I went backpacking around Europe for 2-3 months. And I thought I would like to try going to Asia. So one day, when I was working in Toronto, I picked up the Toronto newspaper and I saw ads for teaching English in Japan. So I thought I should try that for a year. That would be pretty cool. And I applied and got accepted to the JET program. So as far as why Nagano, on the application for the JET program, they ask you to list 3 places that you would like to live. And I only knew Tokyo. I didn't know anything about Japan. So I went to the library and I picked up a book and I found a place that actually reminded me a bit of Canada with lakes and rivers and mountains, and that was Nagano. And so I put Nagano number 1, Tokyo number 2, and I needed one more place. So I started looking around the map and there was a place, I thought it was a bad word, but it was Fukui. I thought that would be a cool choice. So I put that for number 3. Yeah, and luckily I ended up in Nagano.
Yeah, that is lucky, yeah. I did the same thing when I was applying for the JET program, and I put Shizuoka as my first one because I wanted to be near Mount Fuji.
Yeah. What were your other choices? Do you remember?
I think my other choices were, I think I also chose Tokyo, and the other one, I think, was Kumamoto.
Oh, yeah. Looking back, Okinawa might have been a cool choice.
Yeah. Okay, my next question is, so then what did you study in college, and why did you study that?
So I was really into sports and thought about being an administrator or a coach or something in hockey. And there's a program called Sports Administration. You get a Bachelor of Commerce. It's the only program in Canada. And so I went, it's in Sudbury, Laurentian University. Mm-hmm. And after a couple years of that, I realized that maybe that wasn't my calling. Maybe I wasn't going to be a businessman. So I switched over to economics just to kind of graduate and get on with life. And now I run my own business. So,
So it turned out working out for you that way. Yeah. Okay. So you talk about running your own business now. So what would you say are the good or bad parts of your job?
The two really good things, actually. One is the chance to meet all kinds of different types of people: carpenters, teachers, nurses, doctors, dentists, single mothers, really older people, young people, and then getting their thoughts and perspective on life, just chatting with people, it's great.
Yeah.
Another thing, because I teach kids, probably my favorite thing is with teaching kids is that moment when they're, like say 6 or 7 years old, and you have them doing phonics, and they look at a word, and for example, dog, and you can see the light switch on it. They realize they can read English. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool moment for me, to have them be able to read another language.
For sure.
Yeah. As far as bad thing, this pandemic hasn't been good. The fluctuation in salary, I would say, like it could go up and down, even like 50,000 yen in 1 month. So I think just the stresses of worrying about, the ups and downs of running your own business, perhaps.
Yeah, sounds like the same answer that Ian Davidson gave. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we actually, deal with the same issues, I think. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of a off-base question, but when you were younger, what did you want to be and why? Like younger, like when you were a child.
Okay. When I was a child, everything. I mean, any man I came across, whether it was the postman, garbage man, anything on TV, a cowboy, an astronaut. I think the one underlying theme would have probably been a hockey player, professional hockey player, and that kind of stayed with me for quite a few years. As I got older, I think I wanted to be a lawyer at some point. That involved way too much studying, I think. So, and then, like I said before, getting into sports administration or something along those lines. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So what places have you visited in Japan, and of those places, what are your favorite places?
Okay. I've never been to the north or the east of Japan. Like I've been to, I go down to Nagoya, Kyoto, Nara, Osaka, Hiroshima, been to Shikoku, been to Kyushu, pretty much all that area. Mm-hmm. I love near Hiroshima, there's an island with the orange torii in the water, Miyajima. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's an amazing place. That's one of my favorite places in Japan. Mm-hmm. But I would have to say, I think I like Nagano. I love Hakuba and Nojiriko. For me is, heaven on earth, really. It's a great place, and very few people go there or use it. So,
right.
And I also like my little town where I am,
and that's Chikuma?
Yeah, in Chikuma City, yeah. Nagano's a really beautiful area, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So how about the culture then? What parts of Japanese culture do you like?
Can I say dislike? No, I'm just kidding.
Both is fine.
The food, for one thing, the food is awesome, very healthy, and some say it's the best in the world. I think the way Japanese kids are taught to always say thank you and kind of be appreciative of what they have. I think you don't see as much like self-entitlement kind of thing, maybe. More of a sharing group work kind of culture.
Right.
Yesterday when I stopped at the crosswalk, tell that little boy go across, and he stops and gives me the big bow. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah. Okay, a bit more personal. So, do you have any hobbies, and what is it that you like to do in your free time?
Well, I've had a lot more time to go snowboarding this winter. I wouldn't say that's necessarily my hobby, but many, sports, I guess, in general, watching sports, playing sports. I play hockey, go cycling a bit, go swimming, things like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when you're living in Nagano, it's a great place to have those types of hobbies, I think.
Yeah. Great to get outdoors, and the weather's usually quite good here, so...
Okay. So you have family here in Japan? Can you just briefly outline who your family are?
One is looking at me right now. I have, my wife is Japanese. She's from Chikuma City. Mm-hmm. And I have 2 kids. My daughter is 18 and my son is 14. Mm. Yeah.
And Hunter?
Yes. 5th. He'll be 2 next week, actually. Yeah, my dog Hunter. Yes.
Great dog, yeah.
The most important child in my life.
the one who takes the most effort, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last question for you is kind of, what is your plan for the future then here in Japan?
I was thinking about that on the way over. I don't really have an answer because I have a son in junior high school and a daughter in just finishing high school. My whole effort and thoughts have been on their future and what lies, what is ahead for them. But yeah, just especially with this pandemic, just taking everything day by day and not really looking into the future too much, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of value in that, though. I mean, I think a lot of people plan so much for the future or think so much about the future that they don't enjoy the now. Right. And so I think sometimes you need to spend a lot more time existing in this now. It's kind of a Zen idea, I think. But.
And I mean, when I look at my friends my age in Canada, most have either retired or are going to retire soon. And for some people, that's great, I'm sure, if you love golf or, if you have something to do, hobbies, whatever. But I can't really see myself just like some Canadians sitting in the garage drinking beer every day as they retire,
Right.
So, yeah, being active and continuing to work, I guess, is probably my future. Yeah.
Okay. So if you could give any advice to students who are studying English, as a teacher, what would it be?
A couple of things, I think. One, submerge yourself into English. I think it's really important to put yourself in a situation where you have to use English, and maybe preferably with someone or with people who don't speak your native language. I know personally I studied French for like 12 years in school, and unless I'm in a situation where I need to get it out, it's not very effective. Looking at a book or playing with an app on your iPhone. I think that helps, but it's not the best way, I think. Being forced to use English is important. And another thing I try to tell my students is watch dramas or movies or something on Netflix or with native English, with natural native English if possible.
Right.
Listening to NHK radio, good morning, Mike, how are you is not that effective, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And there's so many things on TV and on the internet you can watch, even with English subtitles if that's necessary, right? I think that is also very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, reading books that are written obviously by, native speakers or listening to native speakers talk is a good way to actually learn grammar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you learn it naturally. And I think, people who speak English, or who are born speaking English, they have to learn grammar just by being, like you say, immersed in the language, right?
Right.
So it's a good idea.
Just in my Tuesday night class, I was explaining, I forget if it isn't or aren't or something. One of the guys who has spent time in Saipan in Hawaii said, "What about ain't? Can we say ain't?" And I'm like, well, no, actually you shouldn't. But that's a part of English, right? Like native speakers, a lot of them say, I ain't no good at English.
Yeah, I mean, if you're learning English in Texas, you might, be saying y'all all the time.
Yeah.
So it's the functional part of language, eh? All right. Well, thank you very much, Steve. This has been a great interview, and I'd like to thank you for coming all the way down here and bringing your lovely daughter as well.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll talk to you again sometime in the future. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Stephen Corrigan, and I would like to say thank you very much for listening. Also, I hope that you will try the comprehension questions when you have free time so you can check your listening ability in English. And please, if you would like to be notified by email whenever a new podcast is up, please become a subscriber at kjkentmsed.substack.com. That's kjkentmsed.substack.com. If you become a paid subscriber there, you can read transcripts of the interviews and check your comprehension answers. All right, thank you again, and see you next time when we will speak with another interesting person. Bye bye from Easy English Interviews.